Hi guys, Mrs. Hill here. This is your lesson for social studies for Monday, May 11th, 2020. So this will be for the first activity within the Google Slides for social studies. It's all put into one long slideshow for the week, but you will have three different activities to complete over 3 different days. So I will do 3 different instructional videos. So this is the first of 3 videos, and you are going to need to decide if you want to do your work today on paper, and then you won't have to type anything into the Google Slides, or if you're just going to go ahead and use the Google Slides. You still may want a piece of paper maybe to jot down a note or something like that so you remember what to do when you go in and do this on your own. But if you want to just do the work with me on a piece of paper, then take a minute to go grab a piece of preferably blank paper, but whatever paper you have available, and something to write with. So go ahead and pause the video to go get yourself your materials that you will need for today, and then we'll continue. So I'm going to, well, first of all, you see we're doing life in a city and life on a farm. And we've been talking about, farm life, city life, places to visit in the community throughout our shared reading assignments and things over the last couple of weeks. These slides are provided by the School District of Philadelphia, and they've been customized by me to meet our needs for our class specifically. Looking today for the focus for this week. All right, so this week we will focus on what's the differences between life in the city and life on a farm. The terms or vocabulary we're going to focus on are these right here. So city, place, farm, and farmer. And you will do this by completing the following activities. So these are the 3 activities that I talked about we'll do this week. The first one, today's, will be vocabulary. Day 2 will be a read aloud, and day 3 we will answer the question: is it in the city or on a farm? So let's look at our vocabulary first. When you go to your slideshow, you're on slide 3, you'll see this, it says click here for vocabulary practice. So what that does is it just kind of jumps you in the slideshow to where the vocabulary practice is, and it is on slide 18. Okay. So if I go on here to slide 19, so very similar to an activity that we did last week. I believe it was for science, but honestly, they're starting to run together for me. So, but there was a setup very similar to this where you could click on the speaker button and it will tell you the word. Okay, so the speaker button here, it takes me to a different website, dictionary.com, where the dictionary gives you definitions or what word means. So this word,
City.
city. And if I look at the first definition of a city here, it says a large or important town. Okay, so we live in a city. Think about, what city do we live in? We will answer that later if you're not sure. But think, if you know, tell someone at your house what city we live in. We also have the word place. Now, I'm not going to click on the speaker button every time since I'm doing this with you, but if you go through and do these activities on your own, you can click on the speaker button to be able to hear the word. So the word is place. Please go ahead. Sorry about that. My alarm was going off. Please go ahead and repeat the word place. Place. Okay. Place is a noun. Nouns are people, places, and things. So here we have an example of a park. That's a place. A hospital is a place. And a store is a place. Slide 21. Farm. Say the word farm. Farm is also a noun. A farm is a place, right? It is a piece of land to grow crops and raise animals. And you see an illustration of a farm right here. And our last vocabulary word for today is farmer. Farmer is also a noun, okay? So usually when you add this ER to the end of a word, so if you take the ER off, you just have farm, right? But when you add ER to the end of a word like that, it means one who does something. So a farmer would be one who farms, right? He's a person who grows plants and takes care of the animals, and he works on a farm. So those are your vocabulary terms. Again, we have city, place, farm, and farmer. Now I'm going to scroll back to activity 1. So you can actually review the vocabulary every day, and we will probably refer back to it each lesson. But today we're going to specifically focus in on vocabulary. And you can see that I'm going to have the YouTube instructional video up here for you to click on also. It's not there yet because I am currently recording it. So once it's recorded, I will put it in there for you. So this is the vocabulary activity. And it says spelling activity 2. I actually did take out the slides for the spelling activity because I just didn't think that it was necessary. So I'm going to take that out of there for you too. So we're going to create a foursquare on our piece of paper, very similar to what you see here. And I'm going to walk you through that, okay? So this is where you're going to need that piece of paper that you got. So let's get our paper set up, okay? So I'm going to use an old piece of chart paper. I like to try to save paper. So I'm going to tape mine up so that you can see what I'm doing, and you're going to do the same thing as me. Hopefully it stays. The tape doesn't want to stick to this wall as well as it does. All right, to my wall downstairs in the living room. Okay, so you're going to take your piece of paper and you're going to fold it in half. Okay, and then in half again. We're going to make a foursquare. So we need four squares for a foursquare, obviously. Okay. Put some more tape up there as well. You fold your paper. If I can find what I did with my tape. And then you're going to draw your creases. All right, so we have one going down the middle, see that? And then we have one going across the page. So you have 4 squares. Take a minute to pause the video if you need to get yourself set up so that your paper looks like mine. All right, let's look back at the slides. So our foursquare that we are making, we're going to use these words in the foursquare. So I'm going to go ahead and do that with you now. All right, so here's my foursquare. I'm going to use my blue marker because you're writing too. Make sure this is the one that works. Yep. All right, so the first word that I'm going to put in is city, which you see right here, city. So at the top of one square, I'm going to write city, C-I-T-Y, city. The top of the next square, you can see farm. I'm going to write farm, F-A-R-M, farm. My third square, I'm going to write place, P-L-A-C-E, place. And my last square, I'm going to write farmer, F-A-R-M-E-R, farmer. It's bigger so that you can see. So get those 4 words written down. Again, city, farm, place, and farmer. If you need to pause the video because you need more time, go ahead and do that. If you're ready to move on, we're going to look at this slide. So this is your first activity, and it asks you to define and type the following terms: city, place, farm, or farmer. And if you're doing this on paper, you do not need to type anything. Okay, you can just do the paper and turn the picture to me on the Google Classroom. So, today we're working on vocabulary. So we need to understand what these words mean. We also need to be able to use them. So for part A here, it says, what is the name of the city you live in? So I mentioned this a little earlier, but I didn't tell you the answer. So what is the name of the city that you and I both live in? I'm going to write it out. I'm going to write it in blue, so I want you to write it too. And then when I'm done writing it, I'll say it. So the city I live in is P-H-I-L-A-D-E-L-P-H-I-L-E. A. Whew, that's a long word. Philadelphia. Philadelphia is the city we live in. And you might say, Mrs. Hill, Philadelphia. I hear the F sound, right? This next thing I'm writing is not in blue. Just a quick phonics lesson within your social studies lesson here. So remember, these brackets mean sounds like. So I hear F, but sometimes F is made with the letters PH. Okay? So here we have Philadelphia, and here we have it. Okay? Now, moving on, let's see what it says about part B. So what is one place you go to visit in your city? Okay, so they're going to place next. So we're going to come down here and find place. So what you're going to do here is draw a place in your city that you like to visit. Now, last week we talked about favorite places, and if you told me one of your favorite places last week, I remember specifically Gianna said her favorite place was the school, and Cassira said hers was the library. She also mentioned, I think one of the places she liked that Charlie went was the police station, because she said she had never been there before. But then I think when she wrote her story about her favorite place, she wrote about the library that she really liked to visit. So, girls, since you did that last week, try to use something different. And if you're someone who's turned in your work after I'm making this video, because I do pre-record these, then try to use something different, a different place than you used last week. Okay? So a place in your city that you can go visit. So you're going to draw a picture here and label. Okay, so I'm going to write this part in red because you don't have to do this. You don't have to write what I'm writing. This is just your expectation of what you're supposed to do for the assignment. So you're going to draw a picture here. Okay, so I'm just going to put a little box here to remind you to draw. You're going to draw in here, and then I'm going to put a line to remind you to label. So whatever place you draw, you want to label it also. Okay. Our shared text from last week on the town, you could refer back to that and see some of the different places, how to spell them. Also, this week's shared reading text, places in my neighborhood, you could use that text also to find out how to spell. So just like when we were in the classroom, remember, I don't spell things for you, right? Mrs. Hill, how do you spell? I would say use the word wall. So you used your sight words, or I would say use your resources. Look around the room. Do you see the word anywhere in the room? Is there a book that we've read that refers to that word? And you can use that. So I want you to do the same thing now. Don't ask mom or dad or grandma, grandpa, aunts, uncle. Don't ask how to spell. Find it. Get used to doing that and relying on yourself to spell the words. Okay? And if you really can't find it anywhere, then sound it out first and then have someone check it. All right? But you should definitely try it on your own first. All right, let's see what we're saying now about letter C here. What are some animals that live on a farm? So some animals. So I'm going to say up here, let me make this a little bigger, for farm, that you should draw 2 animals, okay, because it says some animal. It doesn't say an animal. So I'm going to draw a box here. Again, you don't need to draw these boxes. This is just to show you what's expected of you when you finish your work on paper and then take a picture and upload for me. So you're going to draw an animal here and, of course, label it. And you're going to draw an animal here and, of course, label it. So these are animals that live on the farm. And then finally, for farmer, what is a farmer's job? So think back to Farming Then and Now, a book that we read a few weeks ago. That can help you with these 2 right here. All right, so think back to a farmer's job. Does it have to be a job that you read in the book? No. But if you need help, you can refer back to that text to help you. That's Farming Then and Now. So here, what is a farmer's job? You can draw a picture, or you can write a sentence, or you can do both, okay? So you could draw a picture of a farmer doing his job, right? Here's your picture, okay? And if I said to you, what is a farmer's job? You want to turn that question into a statement to start your sentence. You're not just going to say milking cows, because that's not a complete sentence. You would say a farmer's job is milking cows. So I'll write this part in blue because you can start your sentence the same way too. Okay. A farmer's apostrophe S job is, and then you can finish that sentence and make sure that you put a period at the end, okay? And then take a picture and have someone upload it for you to the Google Classroom. Okay. All right, let's see. Now, this part here says to practice spelling the words by typing them 3 times on slides 9 and 10. And I actually took that part out. I did not think it was necessary for our activity, so I'm going to delete that there. Okay. Let's go on. So if you are not doing the activity on paper with me, you instead are going to go ahead and type in the answers here. Okay. And that will be it for today. So again, at the end, this is on slide 8, because remember, all the activities for this week are all in one slide. So this is slide 8 is telling you what activities or what you need to do. So, and I need to fix this here. So slides, now that I deleted something, slides 6 and 7 you can do, or you could submit a picture of your foursquare. And let me bring the foursquare back up to end the video here. So if you need to pause it, I will also make the cover photo of this particular instructional video. I will make it this foursquare so that you can see what's expected of you. Again, do it this way or do it on the slides. Doesn't matter to me. Just do it. All right. All right. I'll see you back for the next activity tomorrow.